Hi there and welcome to the second episode of Animal Lives Matter. This series brings you an inside look at the world of vet nursing, volunteering and animal welfare. In the previous episode, we visited the Kitten Cottage near Atlantis in the Western Cape, a small animal welfare organisation that sterilised hundreds and hundreds of cats. Today we visit the Hangberg community in Hout Bay and we meet Dr. Jacqui de Villiers of Moya Animal Outreach, who's organised a sterilisation drive for this community. Join me on this exciting day and join me at the end of this video when we have a candid chat with Dr. Jacqui about animal welfare, sterilisation and the future of Moya Animal Outreach. The Hangberg Sterri Drive in October was made possible by these fantastic people. DOG, the Domestic Animal Rescue Group in Hout Bay, Moya Animal Outreach, the Cape Animal Welfare Forum, hosted by the Penzance Veterinary Clinic in Hout Bay, and partially funded by the City of Cape Town. The morning starts with a big clean-up. Sterilisation events like this one usually take place in spaces that are not veterinary hospitals. It's a case of making the best of the location available. Jacqui has organised pretty much everything for this event, from volunteers to donated goods to meetings with government departments and even fresh coffee. She's been hard at work to get everything together for today. An event like this costs money. Apart from anaesthetics, antibiotics and other drugs, there are expenses that must be covered. Medical waste bins cost money to dispose of. Thick plastic used for covering surgical tables and even pool noodles used to position patients on the table must be bought. There are still a few things for the volunteers to prepare. I'm organising a waiting area so that excited pets aren't too close to each other, and now I'm registering all the volunteer vets. It seems like everything has been set up now. Jacqui gives us a briefing, delegating roles and directing the flow. It's going to take some concentrated teamwork to make it through today. Jacqui lets us know which pre-anaesthetic drugs we have available for today, as well as the dosages, and then the magic begins. To the untrained eye, it may seem like this has come together as if by magic, but it took some effort to get that rabbit into the hat in the first place.
Twitter me pones a 1000.
Hi there, we are here with Jacqui de Villiers, and she's going to talk a little bit about the sterilisation marathon that we've just been on. Jacqui, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us about why you are in animal welfare? What was your inspiration and your background? Why has animal welfare become your priority?
Okay, that's a big question. I was born into a household of animal lovers. My dad grew up on a farm, did a lot of rescuing and rehabilitating. My mum's a doctor. She's got a diploma in community health and a master's in primary health care. She's been involved in national health ever since I was born. So I spent a lot of time, for as long as I can remember, spending time in disadvantaged communities and clinics, looking out for the greater good of mankind. It kind of became my blueprint to look out for the greater good of the animals.
Yes.
And so that was when I started Moya. So Moya means wind, breath and spirit. Wherever the wind blows me and the great spirit guides me, I will help.
Jacqui, what has brought you to Hout Bay and the Dog and Moya project that we recently sterilised 72
animals.
72 animals, October the 9th.
Sunday the 9th, yeah.
And that was in the Hout Bay.
Hangberg community above the Hout Bay harbour.
How did that come about for you?
I've been working in Hout Bay doing locum work for the local practices for the last couple of years, and we do a lot of the veterinary work for dog for the domestic animal rescue group based in Hout Bay. Then I got word of the Deep South mass sterilisation program that the City of Cape Town is involved in.
Yes.
And they are trying to encourage the sterilisation of every owned pet.
So how is the City of Cape Town involved in this project?
Recently, the City of Cape Town passed a bylaw that all owned animals should be sterilised unless you apply for a permit to become a breeder or to have an unsterilised animal. and they have allocated a fair amount of funding towards getting all animals in the Western Cape sterilised. And so I approached Jeremy from DOG to ask him how that was going to happen, because as far as I was aware, there was no veterinary facility. You can only do veterinary procedures from a registered veterinary facility.
That's right.
And both veterinary facilities in Hout Bay are privately owned and don't do sort of mass welfare work. They're not welfare organisations. And so Jeremy and I then had to secure the venue and meet with the Hangberg Community Sports Hall Recreation Management Group and the Departments of Health and Environmental Affairs, and had to put together our PPE proposals and our clinical waste management and give them flow diagrams, and yeah, eventually they gave us the go-ahead. So Hout Bay was divided into 4 wards. 2 were in Imizamayetu and 2 were in Hangberg.
Yes.
I've been given 1 ward, which is part of Hangberg. It's the Hangberg's got, they call it die Sloot, which is like a valley, a gorge running through the centre of Hangberg, and I've got the seaside of that.
Yes.
And so we have secured 3 days to reach our target number over the period of time before the end of the year.
Jacqui, we talked about the idea the other day that this sterilisation issue in the Cape, in the world, it is an ocean that just keeps flowing. It's and welfare organisations are trying to plug these leaks, but it'll never stop unless we do something at grassroots level. And I know grassroots is such a cliche, but it seems that we're always just dealing with the problems and not dealing with the cause. So what are your comments on that? What do we need to do to make a difference?
So in all my previous work, I've really felt education is the most important thing.
Yes.
And I really like to go to the schools and talk to the children.
Yes.
Because I feel like with the adults we've probably missed them. You know, they've got their mindsets and they've got their ways of thinking and their own realities to deal with, and they're not necessarily as hands-on. But the most successful projects that I've done in the past have been when we've been to the schools first.
Yes.
And we talk to the children and we educate the children and explain to them, well, we firstly try and illustrate how the animals have value, the same as our lives have value, their lives have value.
Yes.
And that they treat them with a bit more reverence and respect. And we explain their life cycles and how their breeding cycles work, and how by not sterilising them, potentially one dog can be responsible for thousands of dogs.
Can I just ask you, why do you think a lot of communities are against sterilising dogs? I have my own opinions and I have my own experience on, like, in the field, why people say they're not going to spay the dog or they're not going to cut the dog. What's your experience?
We don't often have too many problems with sterilising the bitches, but we often have problems with convincing the men to sterilise the male dogs. And the men seem to have an association with the dogs losing their manhood, you know,
yes.
And so that is a bit of a patriarchal approach to the situation, and it's again an old way of thinking, and that's why it's important to deal with the children and to educate the children. The other problem why people don't want to sterilise, which is becoming a bigger and bigger concern for me, is because they want to sell the puppies.
Yes.
And even with the amazing work that we're doing, I have concerns that we may be generating worse problems, and I'll explain. Because we want to sterilise pit bulls, and the pit bull owners are some of the hardest to deal with, and they are the ones that are withholding the sterilisation of their dogs. And what we're ending up doing is we're sterilising all the nice fluffies and spotties and brownies and the sweet little dogs, and we are leaving generations of pit bulls to breed. And this is something that I'm feeling is like a festering boiling pot that's going to explode very soon. And it's something that this country is going to have to take on. and I'm not too sure how. I know that I need to get into the communities. I know that I need to earn the respect of the people in the communities. I know that we can't just come in like we did in a one-day sterilisation drive. We won't achieve anything. Yes, we worked very hard. We handed out flyers. We put up posters everywhere. People had the opportunity to contact dog. Jeremy went to their house, collected the dog, kept the dog in dog overnight in the dog hotel, got a nice meal the night before. He then transported dog animals to the vets to get them sterilised, took them home again, took them back to the owners again, which is fantastic. But for me, ideally, the community members must bring their own animal, be responsible for their own animal, and take their own animal home again, knowing that they're doing a good thing, and knowing why they're doing a good thing. And the only way we can achieve that is through generating awareness, through education. So I would like to meet with the community leaders in the future, the traditional healers, also the rusters, because the rusters have a lot of respect in these communities, especially with the gangsters. Because unfortunately it's the gangsters who own all the pit bulls. So somehow I have to try and figure out a way of getting into the community and earning their respect. And so I do intend to work with these various key people that I've mentioned so that we can try and earn their respect and educate them so that it's not they're being told what to do, because then they're just not interested.
Yeah.
They need to understand why they're doing, or why we want them to do what we are trying to do.
So Jacqui, what do you envision for the future of your organisation called Moya?
So I would really like to make a difference. I had an elderly lady as a mentor who once asked our group, we used to have a tea group that would meet and just chat about general things in life. And she posed the question to the group. We all had some homework to do. Can I be of significance? What can I do for minimal effort and maximal impact? And she wanted us to go and think about it and come back and tell her the next week. And as a vet, yes, I can heal and help lots of individual cases. But if I really want to make a difference, the most important thing I can do is sterilise dogs from these low-income areas. And so, ideally I would like Moya to become a full-time mobile veterinary outreach program that goes into indigenous communities and educates and sterilises animals. And I'm hoping to be able to work with international vet students who come from first world countries where animal welfare isn't such a big deal anymore, where they don't get to have that much experience in surgery and that kind of thing. They can come over and they can get a lot of experience, because we've got one of the worst animal welfare statistics in the world. And something like 92% of our animal population does not get to see a vet.
I believe that the role of vet nurses in animal welfare is vitally important. The tide of unsterilised animals will never abate, but the importance of physical surgery, as done by the multitude of generous vets, as we have seen, cannot undermine the fact that all animals, be they owned by rich or poor, have a right to the incredible skill, knowledge and compassion of vet nurses. If you are a vet nurse watching this, please be inspired to reach out to your local animal welfare organisations and lend a helping hand. Sometimes your physical presence is more valuable than monetary donations. However, financial support is also crucial for Moya to continue this valuable work. Please consider supporting them.